Well, hello, folks. Happy Holy Week, Good Friday. It's good to be alive on Good Friday. So good, so very good. For me, anyway, I'm lucky. What can I say? I've got a go to guy that I love who, if you want to learn about the overshoot space, polycrisis, energy, stuff like that, the go-to guy is his name is Eric with a K, Michaels, Michaels. He has several blogs and posts all over the place, the usual platforms. The reason I love him so much is he's done a lot of work in this space for quite a while, and he knows who all the players are, the scientists, the thinkers, the experts, across domains that relate to civilization and our predicament, our current predicament, the polycrisis, and so on. He's very honest. He's very positive in tone and friendly and supportive. Uh, his message isn't a happy one. There's no way out of this predicament of ours, unfortunately. But he always provides links, hyperlinks within his posts that go to really good resources, solid resources, and reference materials, which are absolutely essential if you're really earnestly, sincerely interested in what's going on with the poly crisis and all this stuff. We tend to Well, we're true believers, as I've often said. We like to believe. I've got my Benedictine cross on. I was brought up Catholic and Episcopalian, kind of on the cusp there in my family. And I'm not a Catholic. I'm not an anything. I'm not a non or whatever. Atheist, probably, because I just don't see any reason to think there's some anthropomorphic God buddy out there that's got my back. I just don't see the evidence for it. But I am not a cultural Christian either. It's just that I like stories, I like mythology, I like history, and you can't really take Christianity out of the history of Western civilization. How much import it has on everything is debatable, but I don't go down these paths like Jordan Hall or Peterson or people like that. Even the wishy-washy stuff that Richard Dawkins has been doing, people like that, the cultural Christian thing narrative doesn't appeal to me much. But I do love culture, and it's a part of the culture. So I am one of the few people, I guess, Christians in the world, or people who were raised Christian, who's actually read the Bible, the Old and New Testaments, and the Torah and stuff like that, and also the Quran and the Hadith and whatever, and Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads, blah blah blah, various Buddhist texts, the precepts, the Analects of Confucius, Mencius, Tao Te Ching, Greek mythology, Roman mythology. No, it's all pretty interesting, and ancient wisdom is wise. But yeah, so yeah, I do sport, pagan accessories and Christian accessories from time to time. I'm not ashamed of it. It's not about stolen glory or grace or anything like that. Just something I do. I hope you understand. But that doesn't mean I'm anti religion or anything like that. If you're a true believer in the dogma of your particular sect, then that's fine by me. I don't think it really causes the kind of pain and suffering that people sometimes a tribute to religion, you know? I think it's more about power and politics, and these are the things that co-opt faith and religious belief and turn them into things that are terrible. We are conquering animals, and we need to go out and conquer all the time. So that's that. So my friend Eric, it's like, what are you going to do? I follow people like, Planet Critical and Nate Hagen's This Great Simplification. And one of the things that does frustrate me about these platforms and people is that at this scale of civilization, probably at any scale of civilization, I side with Carl Sagan. Extinction is the rule, survival is the exception. Nobody knows exactly what the future will bring at all, but we do have fairly decent predictive skills and tools and methods to look at lines of evidence and kind of figure things out. Our civilization depends on a lot of energy use and a lot of material use, and all of these things are finite. But the technologists, the fantasists in technology, will have you believe otherwise, and it behooves them to have you believe otherwise because that's how they make their living. They get filthy, dirty, stinky rich, and they get to stay in the gated community of the Hunger Games while the rest of us forage around at the end of days. For now, things are still going okay because we have oil and gas flowing around the world. We can maintain our energy, and we can add other energy sources to our energy mix so we can use more energy, Jevons paradox, and all that kind of thing, maximum power principle, whatnot. So I said on his blog, I have similar frustrations with earnest folks like Nate. The accelerationist, libertarian, techno-anarcho-capitalists intend to kill everything as fast as they can and must control capital to build, engineer the machines and algorithms to achieve their fantasies. In the old days, there was this thing going around where people used to say, if you want to change the world, change the narrative. Well, now it's if you want to change the world, change the algorithms. Think about that one for a minute. So if you believe strongly enough, you can become a super immortal robot and harness the energy of a universe to build more robots. Robots all the way down. So, you're just out there harnessing energy and building more robots until there's nothing but robots and eventually heat death anyway. But it's a fantasy. It's a ridiculous, absurd fantasy. But any kind of green tech or hopeful, scenarios like this, technology will fix it, engineers will fix it, is good for business. I mean, you're not going to get rich if you don't have a narrative like that. You want people to buy into it. It's extremely important that people buy into it. These guys, they have public companies, they got investors, they've got big government contracts, and they're making shitloads. So the multiverse must be a robot built by tech fantasists. That's the idea. We have become God, and we are reinventing the universe, and it's going to be a better one. Make the universe great again. In the end, it ends when life ends. Will they finish the job? We do have wonderful ways of killing everything off. The sixth extinction is in full swing, and we have our nukes and our chemical weapons and our drone tech and all this stuff. So I said 0 to 1 word, Palantir. You gotta learn about this company, folks, in Denver. Amazing. So anyway, Westerners worship fame and wealth, mammon. So you know what mammon is, right? Uh, it's prioritizing money and wealth. It's a biblical term. Let me just Google it real quick. Biblical term for riches often used to describe the debasing influence of material wealth. Mammon. Ooh, we worship mammon. The logical choice to lead the United States to surpass its former genocidal glory is the Kardashians. Mark my words, you heard them here first. So it's a bit of a joke, but I was watching the UFC and Elon was there and other people like that. And President Trump was there. And, you know, all the people are just kissing his ring, kissing his ass. I mean, these people are absurd, insane, psychopathic freaks. And everybody just feels because of their supremacist mentalities that they have to kiss the ring of this maniac. And it's the cool thing to do. You know, you can't fit in if you're not loving on Donald Trump and Elon Musk. It's like in my piece I wrote, you know, you can't have moral and ethical sentiments when the world is based on worshiping billionaires. And that's your thing. You know, that's what you want to do. Those are the greatest people on earth. You know, I don't think Winston Churchill believed his press, but he was a good enough propagandist for himself to tell his story and make his life out to be heroic. But these people are not heroic by any stretch, not even close. And Trump is just losing the trade war all over the place. But the bottom line is this thing is going to go down, and it's going to hurt us first before it hurts them. They will have a more time to play and golf and go to UFC events and be cool and be worshipped, and they'll get lots and lots of love from the people, the plebs and pros, the workers. And at the end of the day, they'll have a slightly safer location to wait out starvation. But it does end at some point, and reading Eric Michael's posts will help you understand that, because he'll link to great articles and resources that you can use to learn about this stuff. So I'll stop here. I just want to shout out one quick mention. This really good video, How to Enjoy the End of the World, Sid Smith. It's excellent. It was out 5 years ago. But he has a really good blog also that's worth looking at all the time. And then How to Save the World comes from another blog, How to Save the World. The Arrogance of Thinking We Can Make the World Better. It sounds like no fun, doesn't it? But this is the thing, the business cycle that accelerates everything and makes the crisis impending doom, basically, more imminent, is just, the constant belief that we can just build our way out of it. Use a lot of energy, use a lot of stuff, make a lot of tech, and get out of it. They're preparing for war because they know there's a limit. There are limits to, there's limits to growth, but we have limited resources. They know this. So you don't want the other side to have access to those resources, so you want to undermine them. The whole thing about China is just like, they're getting too good for our own good. We have to undermine them. The Celestials have become high tech. Oh my God, the Anglo-West doesn't have a lock on high technology anymore. So that's the end of the world. That's existential. And it's funny because it's not just existential for the West, that they're not going to be the leader anymore. They're not going to control the future. But that China, and the rest of the world, basically, it's an existential risk, or it's an existential catastrophe, predicament for the whole world. So, you could say, well, once we kill China, we'll be okay again because, Disneyland will be in control and we can control the algorithms. But the fact is, it's the whole damn thing is going down because the infrastructure needed for constant growth and for the kind of civilization, energy intensive, materials intensive civilization that we have now is going away. And so at some point, it can't be maintained anymore. You'll see the potholes in the roads coming along and whatever. Now, you don't care because you think that's going to be 10 years away or 50 years away or 100 years away.
And we hold the world ransom for $1 million.
But what happens with these kind of dissipative systems, complex systems, and high levels of complexity is that once they start to crash and certain feedback loops, both negative and positive, and then you have once you cross certain lines in a complex system, it goes quick. It falls down really fast because there are cascading effects, second, third order effects through the whole system. And the thing about our living system, life on Earth, is that it's all interconnected. It's all interdependent. A lot of information, a lot of books, a lot of academic research and studies and scientific studies and about systems, complex systems and how they work. Biology, thermodynamics, all this stuff we usually talk about. And so what do? You prepare yourself because you really don't have agency to affect anything on the macro scale. So the only thing you can do is make friends, be friendly, be nice and kind. Wow, this thing is going. Be nice and kind to each other. And, hopefully as things play out, you'll have a very nice life because no one lives forever, not even these tech billionaires. So take good care. Have a nice Easter weekend. Good Friday, Holy Saturday, Easter Sunday. I hope you have good food with your friends and family. And talk to you again soon. Take good care. Bullion T out.